Hello, hello, hello! I am the Game Catcher, and I am finally responding to Alek from FUBAR Gaming's top 10 video game challenge list thingy. I don't know. Does this count as a challenge? It's probably a tag. I'm gonna count this as a tag. But he tagged me in this a long while back. I recorded it a long while back, and then I lost the recording. I don't know where it went. I searched everywhere for it. It was frustrating, but it might actually be good fortune that I lost it, because a game came out that reminded me of a love for a certain franchise that I forgot to include in the first listing. I'm pretty sure that right now you could probably guess what game that is. I'm a little obsessed with it. And so, anyways, we're gonna be getting into this right quick. Shall we? Shall we? Yes. Okay. Okay, so my first pick would normally seem a little bit strange, just on anyone's top 10 list, but I really liked the way that Alek went about his top 10 list by basically going back into his childhood and going from what games affected him most as he was growing up. And because of that, I was like, I've been gaming since I was like 3 or so, because when I was really little, one of my very first memories was of walking up the stairs to the studio in our old house and climbing up in my dad's lap and him putting a floppy disk, not a CD, a floppy disk into his computer, and me playing Donald Duck's ABC Adventures on his lap. That was my first video game, and I was very serious about it. But that's not my number 10. My number 10 was this one My Little Pony ripoff, basically, called Crystal's Ponytails for the Sega Genesis. And oh my gosh, my tinnitus is acting up. Why are you doing this? Anyways, sorry, that was random. But this is one of the games I kept coming back to. I played it first when I was 4, and I think I played it like last in my most current playthrough when I was 8, right around the same time that our Sega Genesis broke. But it was, I don't know, it was really appealing to baby me. When I first saw it, I had this rush of nostalgia because I was just like, it's my game! Oh my gosh, I remember this! I remember saving the ponies, and I remember fighting the witch, and interesting story, because I was talking to my dad about this when I rediscovered the game, because I'd completely forgotten its existence for a long time. But I was talking to Dad about it, and he's like, oh yeah, that like had a huge impact on you apparently, because when you were little, and I remembered this too as we were talking about it, but I had like a couple of different castle sets. I had like a small miniature set for little tiny figurines, and then I had a bigger set for the more like action figure sized dolls, like that would maybe come up to about that tall, abouts. And one of my major plot threads, I was never a princess. My main character was never a princess. I was a fairy. I was the guardian fairy who would guide the prince into rebuilding his ruined kingdom, and I always had my dad play the prince. I forced my dad to play castle with me all the time, and one of the earlier missions I would have him do would be to build a stable using Legos, and then go like rescue these horses from bandits and stuff like that. And so I was the NPC creating missions for him, and it was fantastic. Oh my gosh, and that was around the same time I was using Yu-Gi-Oh cards as paintings in the bigger castle. It was good fun. So that was number 10. I was also huge into My Little Pony when I was little, and I really liked the new one they came out with. And oh my gosh, all the nostalgia. But number 9 was like 8. Yeah, I started playing that one around age 8, I think, and it was funny. It was funny because back then I was still scared of doing like all of the real heavy battles and fightings and stuff. And the game, by the way, is Diablo 2. I keep failing to mention this, but my favorite thing to do when I was little was chase the chickens in the first town. I just chased the chickens for an hour. It was great. And I remember this one moment where I had gotten a bow because I didn't like fighting melee because that meant I would have to be fighting directly against the bad guys. And I preferred being a druid so I could have an army of wolves to protect me, and I would have bow and arrow, and I would plunk at them from a distance because that was safe. And I've never gotten over that build. That's the same build I played in One Life to Live with Dottie, Andrew, and Andrew's brother Chaos, and just like, I'm gonna provide a link to that, and I need to ask Dottie if I can borrow her footage from that because she's recorded all of that series that we did together, and we're dead now. We're dead now, but she's still got those videos up on her channel. So yeah, if you want to see us One Life to Live beating Bale all the way through Bale, go check that out. But back to what I was saying. So there was this one moment my dad was trying to advise me on how to fight better, and he's like, well, here, look at this bow. It's got these stats and da-da-da-da-da, and I was like, no, but I like my bow. Why? It's pretty. I was like, it's a pretty bow. I want to keep it. Oh, baby me was funny. Oh, baby me was funny. And I've never actually gotten to finish playing the game until we beat that One Life to Live run, because it was one of those things where I would keep coming back to the game. I would get to Act 3. I would get stalled out in Act 3 because of school or something, and I would forget about it. And then I'd come back to it later and be like, oh yeah, I was playing that game. What was happening? I need to start a new game so that I can get a hand for the plot and go back in and... yeah. But basically, from that game, and a game later on in the list, comes my love of all things druids. I feel very connected to druid RPG characters. If there's an option for druid, I am taking it. That is not a question, it is a certainty, a fact, a promise. Okay, so number 8 is my very first strategy RPG. I mean, not strategy RPG, strategy RTS. It starts with the same letter, it's not the same acronym. But for the very first one that I ever played, and that was Age of Mythology. And Age of Mythology was fantastic, and I know a lot of people don't believe me when I first state this, so I'm going to include pictures of me with the awards given to my dad, because my dad worked as the box cover artist on the development team. He made the box cover art and several of the paintings for different gods in the game. But my dad worked on it. I would go down to the office with him on occasion, and I would get to test, like, not really test because I'm not one of the play testers, but they had like different builds that they were working with, and I loved playing the build they had pre-AI because I was a baby and I loved building the town. That might also have been where my "we must rebuild the kingdom" plotlines came from, because just it was a thing. I loved building the town and finding the cows and the sheep and bringing them back, and oh my gosh, it was great. And I was so mad when they brought the AI and I was like, no, they're gonna try to kill us. And my older sister too, who's like older than me by like 7 years, but she would come down to do that stuff as well on occasion. And she would be embarrassed to hear me tell this story, but whatever. There was this one time I remember where she was playing against one of the other guys in the company, because she was old enough to do that, and she just kept going into his town and not really attacking or anything. She just stole his sheep, and she brought the sheep back to her town, and he's like, why are you doing this? And she's just like, my sheep. Just my sheep. And that's my sister. And that's another one I kept coming back to over and over. Like, once, like, because as I got older and then once they finished the game, I was much more comfortable with, like, fighting the AI and stuff. And I never did, like, the multiplayer stuff, really. I much preferred the campaign. The campaign is so much fun. And from that comes, like, my love of, like, all that style RTSs. I love that style of RTS and just mythology. I love mythology. Wherever in the world it comes from, Greek, Norse, Egyptian, Japanese, Chinese, Aztec, anything. Give me anything. I want to hear it and absorb it, and it is beautiful, and just it makes my heart happy. Mythology does. It just does. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so number 7, because this is a more recent edition and everything, would have to be, I think, Ori and the Blind Forest. Best platformer I have played in my life. It's just, oh my gosh, the graphics are gorgeous. I adore it, like the skill sets, the level designs and everything, and the level designers were genius. The graphic designers were genius. Programmer designers were pretty good. I can't tell you if they were genius because I am not that. I'm coding myself, but good job. And the music, they won awards for how good the music was. And just, I really appreciated the way they told their story. It was heart-wrenching. They got you really attached to the characters really fast. And it was just very well constructed and well crafted. And I appreciate it so much. I just really appreciate it, okay? I have feelings for this game. And, because I don't want to spoil anything, because I have it on my channel, and if you want to watch me play that through, you can. I'm gonna put like annotations or a description thing or something, and you can do that. And it's not gonna be off here because that's the edge of the screen. It's gonna be over here on that side. I keep forgetting this. This is my open space. Okay, so number 6. This used to be my number 1 game of all time, but it has since dropped down some pegs just because I've tried replaying it recently, and it was a lot slower than I remember and a lot clunkier because the game is Neverwinter Nights, and it's a beautiful game. It's a fantastic game, but the original Neverwinter Nights and all of the expansion packs connected to it are based off of D&D, very closely based off of D&D, with dice rolls and everything going into it. And there's somewhere on the screen, I'm not sure where on the screen exactly, it will have basically a rundown of what dice is being rolled, what the roll was, and everything, and it goes by turns, so it's sort of like a turn-based RPG in a way, and it's definitely strategy-based, and it's fantastic. And this is another one of those games. This is the other game I mentioned over in the section with Diablo 2, where that birthed my love of druids. I always play a druid when I'm playing Neverwinter Nights. It's just a beautiful character build. I love having my Panther Cain. Like, I'm currently doing a game of D&D where Cain is a wolf, but I had a panther in Neverwinter Nights, and it was gorgeous, and just, it was a well-crafted story. There was a plot thing in the original storyline that I was just like, okay, I guess this makes sense, whatever, but I kept playing through it. But where it really got good was in Shadows of Undertale, and then something of Underdark. I forget what that first something is, but the 2 expansion packs follow a different character to the hero of Neverwinter. And those have my favorite companion in it, Deacon. I love Deacon. Everyone loves Deacon. Deacon is amazing. This little kobold bard who is hilarious, and he is chronicling your adventures. And there's a Neverwinter Nights MMO that's out right now, and it's pretty decent. I have to say it's pretty decent, but they have a Deacon streak as an homage to Deacon, and it made me happy. It made me really happy, okay? I have feelings about Deacon. Deacon is precious. I adore Deacon so much. Number 5 on this list is Jade Empire. Once again, there's a common theme in most of the video games that are my favorites. They're the ones I keep coming back to, because normally what happens is I play a game, I finish the game, I'm done with the game is shelved. I had my fun with it, the adventure's over. No, with my favorite games, I come back to them again and again because I can't get enough. There's something in my heart, in my soul, that fills that void, and one of those games that really did the job for me was Jade Empire. Oh my gosh, I played Jade Empire on the Xbox so many times. So many times. Just, I always played as Silver Phoenix, and she's beautiful and fantastic. I couldn't figure out the resolution on it for the Christmas special I did last year. I might do another one of those this year just because it's so good. It's so good. You guys, if you haven't, like, it's a little bit different on the PC because I got the special PC edition for free. They had like something on Origins where you could get it for free. And I was like, yes! And the controls are a little bit more clunky there if you're doing mouse and keyboard, but on the controller it's smooth as silk. And just, oh my gosh. Graphics are gorgeous. The characters that you can get as companions are amazing, and I get really emotionally attached to them. Sky is my forever boyfriend, okay? Just, I love Sky so much. And I would have been forever girlfriends with Dawnstar, except Dawnstar is straight. But I would have. Oh my gosh, and just there's a lot of things I can't say because spoilers. And it's just I want to save my precious children from ultimate destruction. But it's so good. It's so good. And just play it sometime or watch it sometime. It's fantastic. I'm getting the urge to play it again because I need this. I can't spoil things. I can't tell you exactly what it is I need because I don't want to spoil things. But I need it. Okay, so number 4 on this list is probably not terribly unsurprisingly Undertale, because like, oh my goodness. This is another game where I get emotionally attached, but I'm probably not going to go back through it again because that's one of the things about Undertale is you get the good ending and then they I don't want to spoil it, dang it, but I did a playthrough of it and like I finished the true pacifist route after doing some things that are less than savory. And like I had some major glitches go through the recording when I had to do the reset in like the 5th and 6th episodes. I apologize. I probably went about fixing that the wrong way, like really the wrong way, but I just, it's really, really hard because the camera just went. Anyways, enough of that. You get so attached to these characters, and like I tried doing the genocide route and I couldn't finish it because I was too emotionally upset to do it, to go through it. A little bit hypocritical of me considering things, but just these people are precious. Papyrus is a precious cinnamon bun, a cinnamon roll who needs to be protected. Like, just, oh my gosh, and Alphys, and Undyne, and Sans, poor Sans, just, the poor baby needs a rest, but, oh my gosh, no, just, happy ending, they're done, they get to sleep now, good night. But this is one that I have to praise for its character development and its soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing. I need to play Crypt of the Necrodancer to the music from Undertale. I have to. This is a thing that's going to be happening. And just, okay, so number 3 here is Stardew Valley, because Stardew Valley has emerged from a love and has supplanted Harvest Moon as my number 3 spot, because like originally I had Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley, but like there have been some things going on with the companies involved in creating Harvest Moon, and the quality of their most recent games has basically gone. But Stardew Valley is gorgeous. It's golden. But basically, this is another one of those games that has huge nostalgic value for me, because I was first playing Harvest Moon, the N64 version, when I was about like 5 or so, 5 or 6, and it was my sister's game, my sister's N64, and like she would be playing it in the studio or in the living room, and I would have to hide behind the entryway or behind the couch and peek out from around the corner to watch her play it, because if she knew I was watching her play either the Harvest Moon game or the Diddy Kong game, the Diddy Kong Racing one, or like Super Mario, any of those things, she would just be like, "You're breaking my concentration, get out!" She didn't want that. It was fine. But I wanted to bond with my sister, and so I was basically like constantly pestering her to let me play her N64, and so she set down ground rules, and then I had specific times where I could play it, and like the other 2 games were a little bit above my player ability level, but Harvest Moon was right there, and so that was something that I did to de-stress a lot. And I was so in love with, like, I had a lot of girlfriends in Harvest Moon, just because at first it was Maria, the bookkeeper, librarian. There are words, and she was a sweetheart, and then it was Potpourri, and she's just so bubbly and happy, but eventually, like I just settled on Anne. Anne was fantastic. She was the best, and she was probably the best pick for like having on the farm, because she grew up in that life, and she had all of the know-how and knowledge and skills, and so she was the best waifu. And I kept up with that through different generations of Harvest Moon, like on the GameCube, and eventually got my sister to let me play her PS2 Harvest Moon, and just, it was good stuff. And the last one I got to play was on the Wii, on my sister's Wii again, but I never got to finish it because she had already finished the game, and she decided she needed to sell the game for whatever reason, and I was just like, dang it, but okay. But yeah, and so that was when I was still in high school, and I think junior year? Yeah, pretty sure junior year. So from junior year of high school all the way through college, I was in a Harvest Moon sort of desert, and then Stardew Valley came out, and Stardew Valley was just like Harvest Moon up to 11. There's no going back. It's just so gorgeously designed. It's like the handheld graphics, like it's like the Game Boy version of Harvest Moon, except better. And it's got like some crafting and adventuring in the caves, and the fishing, and the relationships between the characters are amazing. And I'm never ever going to date Emily. I don't even want to have her events. I don't even want to have her heart events, because Clint is my man. Clint is my main G, and I want him to be happy, okay? I want Clint and Emily to get together, because that would be adorable. And just when I first started playing Stardew Valley, I wanted to get together with Leah, because she was an artist, and she was a sweetheart, and she had red hair, and she was amazing. But the one who swept me off my feet ended up being Abigail for some reason. Her events were just so romantic, and she's sweet, and for some reason she wants to eat everything you give her. How did you know I was hungry? I just gave you a gemstone. What? How are you gonna eat that? I don't understand. Oh my gosh, she's adorable. I love her so much. I want future update. One thing, I'm really glad for the update that the developer made to give all of the spouses more unique actions after you get married to them, because that was a complaint I had, because I didn't like that all the spouses were just like each other after they got married to you. But one thing I would love to have Abigail as a companion with me in the caves. I don't know how that would work, but that would be amazing. And I'm still waiting for Stardew Valley multiplayer, because that would be fantastic. So, number 2 in like this countdown thingy-mabobber we're doing is unavoidably Pokemon. Oh my gosh, like, I don't know. Pokemon and the next one on the list keep vying for the top spot right now because my brain is currently switched full on into Pokemon obsession mode right now. But this is a game I've been playing since childhood. I don't remember how old I was, but my first game in the series was Pokemon Crystal. And that, I think, was the first game that I ever beat all the way through, including the post-game content. And just, it's so good. It's so good. All of Pokemon are my babies. If I was any sort of like gym leader or anything, I would be a fire gym leader, because all of the fire starters are my children. All of them. Well, maybe not all of them. I didn't get to, wait, which one was that? I'm trying to remember which generations of starters went where, because there's a couple of generations I haven't gotten to play as much as the others. Like, I don't think I've finished Pearl, and I haven't gotten to play Black and White 1. Oh dear. So, but my ultimate bae Pokemon starter is Torchic. I was stuck in Pokemon Ruby and Emerald for the longest time because people kept saving over my game. I would get to the Elite Four, and then there was this one time I lent the game to one of my cousins, and he accidentally overwrote the game. I can't blame him for it. He was little baby, but I was so mad, and I had to start all the way over. And then another time I was at the Elite Four, and then a couple of my friends saved over my game on the bus on the way to school, and I was so mad, and I started all the way over. But I was with Torchic and Blaziken for such a long time. I'm just bonded to that Pokemon now, just Soul Link. And oh my goodness. But the way I break the starters down is Charmander, Totodile, Torchic, what's the next gen after that? Oh right, that was Chimchar. I always named Chimchar Charmander for some reason. I don't know, I just want to piss people off, but it goes Charmander, Totodile, Torchic, Chimchar, then Oshawott, and then I did Finnegan in my first playthrough of Pokemon Y, and I was not satisfied with the final evolution. The final evolution was stupid looking, and so then I went to Greninja, and Greninja was fantastic, and now I was going to go for Litten in Pokemon Sun, and I was so mad because, like, I understand Tiger Mask and everything, but I didn't want a furry wrestler. I was like, no, you can't do this. At least with Finnegan. Finnegan was on 2 feet. In the middle evolution, you had a cat who became a bigger cat. You promised me that we would have a quadruped fire Pokemon. Deliver on that promise. I wanted an Arcanine, but as a cat. I wanted that so badly. Because the thing about middle evolutions is you make promises on what the final evolution is going to be, and they broke their promise, and I was pissed. So, but I went with the round child, my round, dapper, emo child, Rowlet, and this is the first grass-type Pokemon that has been my go-to starter Pokemon, and I adore them. I adore my Rowlet, I adore my Decidueye. They are perfect in every way. And I was honestly really surprised by Primarina. I was like, oh my gosh, that little Bork became a Wow, what? It was amazing. Oh my gosh. But I do think that the canon, like the proper canon Pokemon alignment situation is that the player character has Rowlet and then Hau gets Popplio, because that's just perfect. They're perfect for each other. And then, because at the end of it, Kukui has Litten, and Litten becomes Tiger Mask, and that makes sense for Kukui for reasons you'll see if you play it, and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. You can have the furry wrestler, it's okay. And so lastly, number 1 on this list currently, although it can be bouncing around with Pokemon right now, is Overwatch. Just because, oh my goodness, I've never been big for multiplayer shooters or anything like that. This is really good. It's very well designed. The what do you call that? The placement system, the system that is basically like, oh, hey, you and you should fight. That's really good. I appreciate it so much. And just the character design, I love the lore in it so much. The lore is what drew me into it. Actually, I don't know if the lore is what drew me into it. It might be secondary, because my very first ever experience even hearing about Overwatch was this one thing I saw where it's like, okay, so Overwatch is divided into 2 halves. One half is everyone going gaga about all the lesbian couples, and then the other half is sitting rocking in a corner just mumbling, "It's high noon." And I was just like, what? I guess that was before a McCree nerf or something. It's so funny. I love McCree so much. McCree is glorious. Oh my gosh. And I got into it right around the Summer Games, and I wanted the McCree Summer Games skin so badly. It was so pretty. But I did get the Widowmaker game skin, and the Widowmaker game skin is gorgeous. My favorite. I adore it. It's great. Oh my gosh. But that's when I really got into it. And I have a lot of friends who play Overwatch too, and I love getting together with them to play it and everything. And just, we really work well together as a team, and we can make some real magic happen. And it's great learning how to pull off all these different strategies with all these different characters. Like, I've got at least 2 characters I can play in each category, just depending on what we need at the time. And oh my gosh, I've been missing DJ in that. DJ's a good player, but he's got his nose to the grindstone, but he's gonna be coming back eventually. Just like, Season 3 is up. I want to play competitive Season 3, but I don't want to do it without a 6-man stack. Because it's just, dealing with randoms. Oh my gosh. And another thing about Overwatch that I really enjoy, like this Halloween event that we had earlier, I was in love with the brawl. Just that PvE brawl was fantastic. It had a lot of character things going on, and it was basically Reinhardt's friend fiction. Okay, just, I love Reinhardt. He's a glorious human being. I love the comic that went into it. I loved everything about it, and I was so happy I got the Witch Mercy skin and the Junkenstein skin, and that was love. That was life for me. Oh, I'm just so happy with that, and I'm so excited for the Christmas event that's coming. You know, because something I hear for the Christmas event that's coming is we're gonna have like an arena style thing, like with like, here's a champion, and here is the new challenger, and like, pardon me. And that just sounds like it's gonna be fun. And I'm still pulling for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reinhardt, and just That would be so perfect. It would be so perfect. It would also be hilarious if Roadhog was Santa Claus, just because he's got the body for it. But also if Soldier 76 was Santa Claus, and then Reaper was Krampus. Reaper's gonna be Krampus. There's no two ways about it. But that would be amazing. Oh my gosh. And then Anna can be Mrs. Claus. But then if Reinhardt was Santa and then Anna was Mrs. Claus, because I ship them a lot. That's a good ship. Anyways, I think I've talked your ears off enough for like this for now. Anyways, you can thank Alek FUBAR Gaming for like nominating me for this and just for taking so long on it. Anyways, I need to nominate some people to like do this themselves because there's some people I'm a little bit curious and I want to know. Man, I had them written down earlier, but now I have to go for it from memory. So I'm gonna say let's get in Turtle Tantrums, Lexi B. Let's get in Cyber Houdini. If he watches this, that would. I'm curious. Who else? I need one more person. Who else? DC. Let's get directionally challenged in here because I'm sure you have some good ones, right? Anyways, so that concludes the Game Catcher's top 10 video games list. I hope you had fun with this and me rambling almost incoherently about various things, and I'll be seeing you in the next one, so bye bye!